Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Yesterday, or a couple of days ago if you're me, I recorded an upload stating that I've been working on an upload for a couple of days, talking about proof of Dogman existence. And, I have seen a Dogman. Many of you have as well. So there is no reason to have to show that proof. But others need the proof. And today that's what we're going to do. Before we do that though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. Finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost you a cent. Click the like button. It's 1 second. And please leave a comment. Because all of those things, they really do help. And they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? During yesterday's upload, I shared my encounter at the end. And I shared it in a way that I probably should have shared it right in the very beginning. Not with humor, not with it taken lightly, because that night was not taken lightly at all. That night was hell on earth for me and my friends, and always will be in the back of my mind somewhere. Because I have a YouTube channel, sometimes people look at me or other YouTubers who really are researchers as just entertainers. Tom Lyons chose me to narrate his audiobooks because, I don't know. I'm working on my own books. I just don't know how to do everything that a writer does. I've got drafts and stuff, but my research is different than most. My research is something that I'm good at. Not really been good at too much, except cryptid research in this context. I don't know how big you think that is, but that's files that I have compiled about attacks, about proving the existence of not only Dogman, but Bigfoot, werewolf, what have you, that take aim at human life. Unfortunately, there, once again, is the balance of YouTuber, entertainment, and research. There are a select few researchers out there that really do the work. I don't know all of them, and I don't really care for all of them. I won't bash them either, because they're doing a justice, I guess you'd say. But then there's these other channels out there that come up with AI generated pictures and stories and this and that. And My filing cabinet behind this camera is full of subscriber encounters. And I've tried to get all of them to come on and share their experience after my narrating them. Just to show a face, a voice, a face to that experience. So you guys know that it's not entertainment. It's a shame that what is going on in this community. It really is. Because a long time ago, when I first started my YouTube channel, there weren't hardly any channels like mine. Couple. And then all of a sudden, pew, it blew up. And people, unfortunately, will believe anything. For some reason, someone says park ranger. Ho ho ho! But people don't think. How many park rangers are out there that are going to go against their NDA? Not many. I can tell you that for sure. Because when I went up to where Tom Mezek disappeared and I pushed to speak to different park rangers, I only got 2 that would speak to me with brief words that were not covered by the NDA. Bottom line is, you break your NDA, you more than likely will get fined. More than likely, you could go to jail, especially if you're a federal park ranger, even if you're retired. I mean, look it up. And just because they broke that NDA and they're retired and this and that, doesn't mean the government ain't gonna come after them, because they are. So I want you guys to think about that. Now I'm done. Why do I know Dogman's real? Because I saw one. I saw one with my friends. Why do I look at research like what I do? Because I know that these are attacks that are real. There's an attack in Alabama a couple weeks ago, month ago, and 6 dogs attacked this man. Animal control came on the scene. Police came on the scene. I make a video about it a couple days or a couple weeks back. Probably 2 or 3 days after. It was around March 1st, around my daughter's birthday. 2 or 3 days after it happened, people are, why aren't you covering the story? Because it ain't real. Because it ain't a Dogman account. It's actually a dog account. Because the first thing it popped up on my computer, I called animal control. I watched news reels. I listened to what people were saying. And you have countless witnesses saying that these dogs, when the police and animal control showed up, the guy was getting chewed on by the dogs. The DNA matched, the bites matched this and that. It's not a Dogman attack. It's a animal attack. All right? What I have right here is proof of Dogman existence, because they're there. They are real. Meeker, Colorado. The cattle attack, right? Cattle are getting attacked. A gentleman named Carl reaches out to me. That's not his real name, by the way. And starts talking to me about these attacks. Starts telling me about these kill teams that came in. You know what happens? After 2 creatures were killed, the attacks in the papers stopped. These were actual news. You can go and look at it. But, you know, because it's real and not far-fetched, people don't want to believe it. People don't want to believe the real. They want the crazy, the far-fetched. I won't do that. Meeker, Colorado. Then you got the Border Patrol agents. Pretty crazy story, right? Yeah, until there's actual news coverage of deaths of the 2 Border Patrol agents that died. That I stated were dead. And then you get the attacks, guys. Then you get the real deal right here. This is Tennessee. The map of Tennessee. The studio started getting a little hot, and I started talking about things that really upset me, so I had to take off the old shirt. This attack was in 2020, back in August 14th. Bristol Police Department investigating a body found in a creek. Police department say officers located a body at 2 p.m. in Beaver Creek in the 1800 block of a 6th Street extension. Partially decomposed male was found ensnared on a tree that had fallen across the Beaver Creek. Cause of death has not been determined. The body will be sent to the William Jenkins Forensic Center in Johnson City. Then there's August 14th. We get a name. Bristol, Tennessee Police Department is investigating a missing persons case, asked to help. According to the Post, City of Bristol, Tennessee, Orville Brown, 55, was last seen by family members August 3rd at 2 a.m. Post says foul play is not suspected. There are issues surrounding Orville's disappearances, and authorities say are concerning. That's another one of my things that I look for, issues, when they start to bring up like drug addiction, or they love to bring that up. They really do. Or mental illness, you know. Someone has bipolar, they'll use that to the extreme, even though it can be managed by medication, you know. People live with bipolar and have normal lives. People live with depression and have normal lives. It's not something to take advantage of, and the news loves to do it with these cases, and it's very, very disturbing to me. Then this, all in the same location, Bristol, Tennessee, August 13th, 2022. Okay? These are two different accounts, same location. There was a dogman hunting in Bristol, Tennessee. Body was discovered at the West Davis Greenway in Bristol, Tennessee on Sunday, according to city officials. Captain Danielle Eller of Bristol, Tennessee Police Department said the death does not appear to be suspicious. The body is being sent to autopsy. This is another thing on Daryl Brown, or Orville Daryl Brown, 53-year-old gentleman who was found in the creek. And then we have, to me, some of the strangest. Now, I'm going to start, when I reported this, I started forward. I started present day and worked our way back to show you guys something. What I'll do is I'll show past tense to present day, and it'll still show it. August 18th, 2016. A man's body was found submerged in water inside of a cave on Wednesday in Marquise Estates subdivision in Pleasant View, according to Cheatham County Sheriff's Office investigator Dale Smith. Smith said investigation continues and did not release the victim's identity. The body was found by family members, Smith said. Smith said that the Pleasant Valley Police Department requested assistance from Cheatham County Sheriff's Office and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation due to the complex nature of the case. Pleasant Valley Volunteer Fire Department was on the scene with rescue equipment, and the man's body was recovered shortly after 3 p.m. Pleasant View Police Chief Tad Wheeler. Tad. What's up, Tad? Tad said body was found at 8:30 a.m. Police then coordinated off the area on Cary Drive, which is a residential area off Highway 41A. TBI, or Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, spokeswoman Leslie Earhart said the cause of the man's death is unknown at this time. She said the man's body will be sent to a medical examiner for autopsy. Determine the cause of death. Agents continue to interview individuals as a part of the investigation into this case. Authorities on the scene said the victim had possibly been missing since Sunday. All right. Now we're going to jump to present day. This is March 7th, 2022. So a year ago. A year ago. Same location. Just like Bristol. Think about it. And these creatures, I do believe they travel. They're an opportunistic hunter. All right. I don't know if you want to call that migration or not, but to me, it's more like the Native Americans when they would travel where the food was. Like Plains Indians. They didn't have long houses. They had teepees. They could break them down, drag the long poles with their tarp, or not tarp, but cover, hide cover, and all of their belongings on that, and travel to where the food was. But every once in a while, they come back to the one spot where they know food is, and hunting grounds are good. Just remember, 2016, now we're jumping 6 years later. Pleasant View, Tennessee. A thickly wooded area in Cheatham County off of Pleasant View Road near Town Pride Development is a playground for 13-year-olds who love to explore. We saw a trail and we thought, it'd be pretty cool to go down that trail, explained the teen boys who didn't want their identities revealed. The Sunday afternoon hike on March 6th started, as so many had in the past, seemingly uneventful until an item of clothing kick-started a hunt that would lead them to their biggest discovery of their lives. I found just 2 random shoes. This piqued their interest. I put both shoes together, and then one of our other friends, he saw a femur bone, the teen explained. Instead of running, they pushed further into the woods, leading to their next discovery. This is just some random cave we found, they said. Inside, with only the glow of a cell phone, another clue. In the cave, we found torn clothes, a prison release card, a credit card. It was at that point the friends decided it was time to make some calls. First to the police. They said this is the strangest call we've had in a while, and told us to take them there. One of the boys said the second call was to their parents. My son calls me and says, "Mom, we found a femur bone in the woods." And I said, No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And he's like, "Yeah, we really did. We called the police and they're going to put crime scene tape up," the mother explains. They were beside themselves. They were a little shook up, They may have solved some missing person case. I hope they helped in some way. One of the teens explained going back into the cave with the police. We went deeper into the cave and found the rest of the body. The head, torso were just lying on the cave against a wall. You couldn't make out into the clothes. It was too dark in the cave. When asked if the mother would allow her son to continue to explore the woods, she said, "Yeah, hopefully this won't happen twice, right?" Tennessee Bureau of Investigation confirmed the body of an adult male. An autopsy is scheduled to determine the identity of that individual. So, years difference. I'm not even gonna go into Cocke County, Tennessee, right yet. I will momentarily. But years difference, Dogman comes back to where the hunting ground is good, right? Figure didn't get caught the first time. Setting is the same. Hunt is the same. Bodies being discovered, same location. How is that not believable? How do people not see that this is real? That these creatures are here hunting humanity? It makes no sense, right? Logically, I mean, how 6 years passed. It doesn't happen. It won't happen again. Maybe it'll happen in 6 years. Maybe it'll happen in 3. Who knows? But it will happen again. And I guarantee you, Cheatham County will have another body found near those caves. Because to me, that's Dogman hunting ground. It's pretty plain and simple, right? Then you've got, excuse me, then you've got Cocke County, Tennessee. The biggest BS right there. The police were trying to cover it up so bad that they had a scapegoat. They scapegoated a poor guy. You know? I mean, it's insane. How do you scapegoat an innocent person when he is the first 911 caller for Tony Aarons? April 1st. Calls for Tony Aarons. And Tony Aarons is found on Charles Owensby's yard. Sorry, my brain I got the files right here. I just wanted to. Owensby does the right thing, calls 911. Owensby is a mild-mannered criminal, you know, dealt a bad hand, lives in the poor part of town, probably an alcohol problem, maybe a drug problem, more than likely a drug problem. Yes, he did, but he's not capable of tearing a man apart and then leaving large canine tracks around the dirt, right? Then you got Amber Miller a couple months later. Found in the 50 to 60 feet away from where Tony Aarons was found. Owensby isn't even on the scene. Owensby is at his ex-wife 5 miles down the road. What happens? The police, they already knew escape. They already had this set, man. They already knew something was going to happen again because there's a homeless encampment down Jimtown Road at the end of the train trestle, by the train trestles. And I'm betting city workers and police, local county sheriffs have seen it. There's creatures throughout those woods. Locals know about it on Jimtown Road. All on Carnation Way. They know it. Owensby isn't even at his house. Amber Miller's found. A day later, they got a warrant for Owensby. Some crazy marijuana charge. 1/4 ounce of weed. Nothing. It's illegal in New York State. You know, I mean, like, I'm not saying my state is, but this is a medication that is being used now. But that was their plan. They release him on $1,000 bond, which is not that much. He goes home. His trailer is shot at. The night his trailer shot at, he calls the police again, telling the police that he has seen city workers drive by his house and yell stuff at him. And I think this was part of the setup, part of the plan, the paper trail, you know, the actual news trail, if you know what I mean. He then is the police officer the police officer, for some unknown reason, knows his home more than Owensby does. Owensby's like, there's a bullet hole in my bedroom wall going through. Boom. They look around, no casing, no casing. That hole was there. How do you know? How do you know that hole was there? Unless you were the one that shot that hole. So, no casing also. Any shooter, any real shooter, will pick their brass up. Or it could have been done by a revolver or a bolt action. It was a 9mm, so I'm doubting bolt action. More likely a revolver or a Glock, a Canic, whatever, SIG, whatever was done to you. So he's arrested again. Mind you, they're slandering Tony Aarons and Amber Miller during this. Drug addiction, mental addiction, or mental illnesses, this, and that. CPS on the mom, oh my God. That has nothing to do with the case. What the hell? And then, then the moron sheriff at the time comes out and says methamphetamine was a contributing factor. Why? Why was methamphetamine a contributing factor? Is Dogman a meth head? No. But it was just something to, you know, take the heat off of really what was going on. So he's arrested again for filing a false claim, a false report. He's released. And it just kept going and going. I think the last time he was arrested was in September for failure to appear in court. For a charge that was created. So when I called down there and said, hey, what's the deal with Owensby? Where is he? Why isn't there any kind of thing in this paper going on? You know, why isn't there anything in the news? Why isn't there anything anywhere about Owensby in the case? What's going on? He was released. That's all they said. I said I was an independent reporter. That's all they said. He was released. Now we don't even talk about the case. It's like it didn't even happen. Didn't even matter. You have a daughter of a law enforcement, another guy who had issues with drug addiction and things like that. But that's why they brought it up, right? Because when they can paint the victim and the perpetrator as a person that is no good to society, then we forget about it. It's human psyche, it's human nature. That's just a couple. You know, I can keep going. Christopher Whiteley in Texas, Lipin, Texas. Christopher Whiteley attacked, reported missing. He was on his way to work and cut through a section of woods. And he's found sometime later, torn apart, like just savaged. Pretty similar to Tony Aarons, Amber Miller, right? there's a huge argument, a huge fight between animal control or fish and game. Excuse me, it wasn't even animal control, because animal control usually works side by side with local or county. So sheriff, fish and game. Huge fight. Sheriff saying, this is a mountain lion attack. Fish and game's like, bull crap. This is nothing like a mountain lion attack. This is nothing similar to a mountain lion attack. They had a forensic expert who was a forensic expert on mountain lion attacks come out and prove that it was not a mountain lion attack. But what did they do? They slandered Whiteley, calling him a criminal, a drug addict. And he was not like, when I say criminal, I don't mean like he was not a murderer, he was not an abuser, he was not this, he was not that. He was just a petty thief. He had an issue with drug addiction. What do you think they brought up? Drug addiction. His legal records. Why does that matter? Why, since when has the victim persecuted? Never. Never. Huge fight going on between local sheriff and Fish and Game. What's that? That fight overshines the cause of death in the news. Overshines the violent attack that this guy died. Does that make sense? No. I got a couple other things that I'm going to share, and then I'm going to share with you guys some very insane information. I talked to the retired Air Force intelligence officer a couple nights ago, and that night he said not to share it, but then he called me tonight, or now today, or yesterday, excuse me, and said I could share what he said. So we'll so right there. Then you got Brenda Hamilton. I'm not even going to talk about that because everyone knows. I mean, that case, I covered that case when it happened. Corey Gudsey. Yeah, I mean, I had freaking a guy who went to school with his mom on my channel talking about that case. Talking about how Department of Homeland Security was on site. It just doesn't get crazier, you know? Yet people want to listen to a creepypasta, made up crazy story rather than reality. Reality is scarier and more twisted than any creepypasta story could ever be. We're talking about deaths that are being covered up, attacks that are real and being covered up. Brenda Hamilton. Gosh. 2 months ago, I was contacted and they were telling me how there was a petition. I made a video about it 2 months ago. And you guys went and clicked the petition, put your names down. A month later, another channel covered it. I don't know, I'm used to it, but whatever. It's good that they did, I guess, you know, write off my work, but at least there's more word of mouth for you guys to hear, even though the majority of you guys are subscribed to me, listen to the channel as well. This one is another one, guys. I mean, this stuff drives me insane that these cases are these are forgotten cases. Is anyone talking about Corey Gudsey? No. No one's talking about Amber Miller, Tony Aarons, Christopher Whiteley. The reason why Brenda Hamilton is still in the news is because her community has not given up. They will not give up. They know what, or have a vague idea of what killed her. And they want answers. And I praise that community. Don't stop, because you're doing the right thing. The government needs to be held accountable. How crazy is this one? October 21st. I covered this when it first happened. You can go back in my videos and look up the dates, and it'll be a day later or on that day. October 21st, 2021. A child was apparently attacked and killed by the family pet south of Kiefer on Wednesday, Cocke County Sheriff's Office reported. This is in Oklahoma. A child whose name and age have not been released was reported missing at 7:20 p.m. Wednesday. Chief Deputy Chris Leach wrote a news report. Deputies arrived on the scene south of Kiefer to respond to a call, and shortly after, a family member found the child on the property. He or she was pronounced dead at 7:35. Leach said deputies believe a dog attacked the child and were working with Oklahoma Office of Chief Medical Examiner to confirm the preliminary investigations. So that's the first pretty much article that you get, right? Until you wait until the next day and you find out exactly how the story really went down, and you're just like, wait, what? And it's almost like the local, state, federal agencies think we are dumb because they confuse us. They don't confuse all of us, but they confuse a great number of the population because we are easy to confuse. I'm easy to confuse. Anybody is, when you push so much information out that has falsehoods, some have narratives that don't even matter, and then you're just like, whatever, let's forget about it. So the night goes by, and then in the morning, some 23 hours later, or excuse me, 12 hours later, they start to identify the victim, his age, and the story surrounding it. And it's very strange, and it's tragic. It's a tragic case. It is. It's sad is what it is. So, trying to find the here it is. A boy has been found dead Wednesday night after an apparent attack by pet dog, according to Cocke County Sheriff's. Deputies said the boy was playing outside and wandered off, and after searching, his body was found in the backyard. Property owner, who was not related to the family, told News on 6 the boy was 7 years old. Sheriff's Office said the parents called the deputies at 7 p.m. Wednesday to report he was missing. They say deputies put together a search team and 15 minutes later found the body. About half an hour later, near West 171st Street, off of Highway 75A in Cocke County, near Kiefer. We just started seeing flashing lights. Kiefer Police, Highway Patrol, another vehicle, their flashers on driving up and down the road. Shannon Edson says. Edson said her and her family were celebrating a birthday party out on their porch when they saw and heard the commotion. We knew something was wrong. As a mother, you know that scream. If anybody has ever heard that scream, you know that scream. Something is catastrophically wrong. Deputy said Animal Control has the dog. It's gut-wrenching. No family should ever have to go through this. So, the dog's breed was a Corgi Sheltie mix. It's a 7-year-old boy. My daughter, Isabel, is 15 now. Well, when she was 7, she was kind of small for her age. There's no way a Corgi Sheltie mix could take out a 7-year-old boy. I've seen pictures of him. We've seen pictures of the little boy. It's tragic. Their yard, their house sits, their yard goes out, there's some shrubbery and field. That woman, Shannon, said she heard a scream, a little boy's scream. Then she heard the mother scream after the body was found. The dad went out in the backyard prior, okay? Prior to calling the police and look for his kid. He wasn't there when he initially went out. But when the police came, he was there. And he was bit up, torn up. It's a tragic case. It's disgusting. You got a 15-pound Sheltie Corgi mix. Believe they're 12 to 15 inches in height at the shoulder. A 7-year-old could kick that thing and punt it like a football. Bottom line, you and I both know that's just how. Why was the boy's body not found when the dad walked out first? Well, because the Dogman probably took the boy, killed the boy, maybe went up in a tree, didn't look, dropped him, and fled. That's illogical. But then we'll blame it on a Corgi. A pet. It was a new pet at that, but my cat could probably kill a Corgi. A cat. These things make no sense, but they are proving points to prove that these things exist. I mean, how much more proof do you really need? Not you guys, but the population at a whole will believe UFOs in the sky are being seen, but yet we cannot believe that a Bigfoot or something similar but with a snout exists. Just because we say the name Dogman does not mean it's canine. Yeah, there's some BS, whatever, channels out there that say, oh, I have hair. Because I have hair, but the hair that I had fat tissue, had follicles. And it came back hyena. Corcuta, Pachycorcuta. An extinct hyena. And this is out of Colorado, Meeker, Colorado. I can't. With another type of genome to it. But it was not human. We want to believe things. We want to jump to believe these things because then it gives us answers. But unfortunately, those answers have not, or those questions have not been answered yet. And the sooner we realize that, unfortunately, the sooner we realize that, the sooner we can all start to really take the blinders off and realize what in the hell is going on. There are monsters out there and they are real. Just because there's no clear photos of them, they're blurry. To me, that points to what that Russian scientist was doing in 1980s when the Russian government took over her scientific expedition to figure out how Bigfoot can camouflage and blend in, possibly cross dimensions. A government harnesses that, whoever they fight is done. But it only gets scarier. It only really gets scarier if you think about it. So that's just a portion of, I mean, once again, guys, this is file after file after file. I mean, look at all the paper clips in there. Those are all different cases of attacks that are not. There are, guys, just like I said, that Alabama case, there are attacks that are really animal attacks, because animal attacks happen. Animals are dangerous. These are unanswered attacks that are just filled with lies and deceit and cover-ups. Virginia, Tazewell, Buchanan, Virginia, right on the borders, Mercer, West Virginia. For 8 months almost, I was talking about disappearances, bodies being found torn apart. And it wasn't just 1, 2, 3, no, it was 5, 6, 7, 8. I have police calls that I recorded that prove these creatures are real. Our government is lying to us. If they stopped lying to us, maybe we'd have a chance. That hunter in Missouri, just recently. It doesn't get any twisteder. Reality is scarier than fiction. Fiction sounds great. Hey, fiction sounds awesome, you know? Who wouldn't want to survive a Dogman attack and break the case some 50 or 40 years later, saying, hey, you know, I shot it. Shot Dogman with 410. Come on, we all know that didn't happen. This is scary. This is so real, man. I can't even... And you all know it's real as well. And the Air Force, reconnaissance, intelligence officer shared some information with me. And now I'm going to share it with you because he gave me permission. I sat on it for 2 days, 3 days actually. Itching to, but I won't, because I won't give my word up. Ask Kirk Stokes. Kirk Stokes was blown away when he and I first connected. I treated him with respect, and he will be coming back on my show. My show. No one else's. Because I live to my word. Because these things are real. I saw one. That's how I know they're real. You don't have to believe me. A lot of people, a lot of you guys have seen them. Or know someone that's seen them. Right? This is what the Air Force intelligence officer said to me. Retired Air Force intelligence officer. And I said, well, I question him because of what I said earlier. Did you sign a non-disclosure when you left? How are you able to share this? Are you afraid for your life? He's 76 years old. He's dying. He doesn't care. He's done. This is information that he shared that He has a grim outlook for something. And what he shared with me made a lot of sense, and it scared me. Here it is. So when he and I initially spoke, he had told me, he contacted me after he heard about the Border Patrol agents. When he was with the Air Force, with the reconnaissance, intelligence, he stated to me that not only are we using these creatures as a weapon of war, but other countries are as well. Other superpower countries, other countries that have the same capability of shared destruction, shared nuclear destruction. China. China doesn't have to have DUMBs because they control their population. Unlike us, we are free. Even though we don't think we are at some of the BS laws that are being passed and stuff like that, and amendments getting trampled on and stuff. But we are, for more or less, free. So they have to hide things from us, right? China, you stumble across something like this and they'll use you as a test subject or food. He said these Dogman training camps are outside in China, right? So we're talking the other day, and he said he was watching the news. He watches world news. He said, I watch world news because I don't want to watch one side blue, one side red. If I watch the news because I want truth. So he watches the world news, which I can't blame him, you know. I like all sorts of news articles or news agencies. I like one, and it's a small dog. But he was watching the news one night when China, the prime minister or whatever, Xi, however you say his name, and Putin met. And he said, Jeff, I have a bad idea. I have a bad feeling about what is going to happen next in this war. He said, I don't think it's going to be shared a nuclear war, because then there cannot be world domination. One country cannot, these other superpowers want world domination. The 1% won't let it happen, but it's still a want, right? He thinks that the combination, the two joint superpowered countries, China and Russia, may use Dogman on the battlefield in the Ukraine. The exact words. He said, I don't know it for a fact, but he said from what they learned back before his agency with the Air Force closed down. Sorry, my daughter called. I had to stop it real quick. He said that before he retired in 2013, the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance stopped in 2014. And they were made aware of these. Certain people were made aware. Certain intelligence agencies were made aware of these creatures' existence, right? And what the capabilities could be if they were dispersed on populations. Like, they thought about using them way back in the day during riots and stuff. In the 50s, 60s. They didn't, thank the Lord. But they were told that possibly China may use these creatures against humanity someday. You can't go and bomb China because you don't like something they're doing, because they would start an international war back then. You can't even do it now. I mean, you know what I mean. But he has a bad feeling that there won't be nuclear Armageddon. There won't even be worldwide. There will be teams of dogmen dispersed in the Ukraine, possibly. And if we see the sides shift, we know why. That's scary. That's really scary. He said probably within the next 3 to 4 months, we will see a tidal wave shift. And the news will cover it with something strange, something constructed. But the button will be off the table at that point. How scary is that? He said he wouldn't be surprised that if that went down, that they would use them in Taiwan. It'd be easy to get them there. When he said that to me, I was terrified. I was like, wait, that can't be true. Because what happens if there's strife in our country again? Will our government use them against us? That's scary. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's upload. I hope you guys see. And I'm not pointing this out to the people who know the existence of these creatures. I'm pointing this out to the people who may be on the fence. Those people that have a friend that said they saw something. Or those people that listen to these experiences because they like them. I don't know. But these are unanswered cases. These aren't cases where a bear randomly attacked a guy, where dogs randomly attacked people. These are cases that are full of lies and deceit. And then to have the retired Air Force officer share with me what he shared is scary. Guys, we need to be alert. We need to be aware when we're in the woods with our families, when we're camping with our families. We need to be hyper vigilant of all of this stuff going on out there, because it may just bite us in the ass if we're not. No pun intended, and I didn't mean that as a pun, because this isn't a joking matter. These things are real. You got crawlers probably coming out of Dulce in these underground bases of experimental creations with alien life form. And I'm not saying from outer space, maybe they crossed over through a portal or dimensions, whatever. Who knows? Guys, this stuff's real. And this is what it is. This is scary. This scares me more than a creepypasta. More than a movie. Guys, I appreciate all your support. I appreciate your kindness. May the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down the path that we call life. Guys, stay safe and stay healthy.